Hi guys, it's Saturday. I am sick. I've been sick for over a week. I have antibiotics and prednisone now, thank goodness. But today has been rough. Yesterday was a good day. I was feeling a lot better, but today, fever back and just feeling crummy. So I'm having a moment of not so bad. So I'm going to go ahead and read chapter 29 to you guys because I have no idea what I'm going to feel like tomorrow. I'm also going to start doing videos on narcissism and Trump because fuck this. I'm so disgusted with what he has done to this country and people. I mean, not enough people are getting it, and maybe I could reach one or two people. That would be worth it, but I'm so frustrated and I don't know what else to do. So yeah, I'm gonna start doing videos on that. So I'll probably do one tomorrow depending on how I feel. So chapter 29, there's 31 chapters in book 1. So I know I said last time that this was the last chapter. It's not. And I can't remember if it's this book or the second book that I talk about the last time that I saw my mother. But I'll tell you guys about that. If it's not in this book, I'll tell you guys about that in a couple weeks because that was quite interesting. Anyway, so chapter 29 is titled Processing. This was on August 12th, 2022, day 36. As always, I start with a quote. This one was by Louisa Alcott. It says, "Unless you're a survivor of emotional abuse, you have no idea what it means to fight daily battles in your head with a person you no longer have contact with. Emotional abuse has residual effects of the victim's brain and soul. You don't just get over it." All right, my words. Good morning, reader. I slept a good 5 hours or so, which, by the way, when you're going through healing and narcissistic abuse, your sleep schedule gets just, it's insane. It's really difficult to sleep. That's typical. That's normal. If you're going through that, that's normal. Okay. I did wake up at 1 a.m. thinking it was 5-ish and started to get ready for the day. Then I looked at the time. Oops, no, Jaren, get back to bed. And I actually was able to fall back asleep. Good. I needed that. Still not enough sleep, but better. I had a very good session with Abigail yesterday. I read a bit of this to her towards the end of the session, but the focus was centered on why the family is reacting the way they are right now. I explained it all. Read the messages. Yes, it is very common for families to react this way, especially with severe trauma. By writing this, I may be forcing some to confront their own trauma when they are not ready to. However, I'm sorry. Sorry, Clarice is being a stinker. When they are not ready to. Certainly not my intention. However, do I silence myself to make others comfortable? No, that's what I have been doing, and it has done nothing but hurt and hinder me. What I am doing now is helping me, even though the family does not understand at all. Not at all. It is so much easier to call me crazy or say that I want to stir up trouble than to try and really understand. So I need to clear something up, or attempt to anyway. I'm still trying to understand. Abigail explained it, but I may not get it out completely correctly, as I'm still processing and understanding. The whole thing with trauma is that it causes not only physical changes to your brain, but it is difficult to figure out events. That's why I'm writing the way I am. You are all processing with me. I'm not just recounting stories of my childhood. I'm trying to process to make sense of events and difficult situations that occurred. This is not a story. These are real events which cause trauma and confusion. I am attempting to make sense of it all, to process it all correctly. Now, that being said, when new information comes up, I'm going to attempt to figure it out here with all of you. So the faux father and Beau are trying to say that the incident where the maternal figure had me walk in on the faux father in Moreno Valley never happened. He is calling me a liar. I'm not lying. What I'm doing now is helping me. Even though the family does... Oh, wait. Sorry. That's not right. I am not lying. Am I remembering everything perfectly? Of course not. It happened quickly. I was 11 years old. It traumatized me, but it did happen. The faux father claims he would never have gone inside and left the four of us out there with the maternal figure. Bullshit. You did. I'm not judging. Not at all. I just don't believe he remembers. That's changed. I think he remembers all of this shit. I think that he gaslights and he lies and says he doesn't remember so he doesn't have to take accountability. Typical. Because I'm sure he was embarrassed, but it wasn't a trauma for him, I don't think. He wasn't there for the maternal figure scheming. He didn't see that part. He also wasn't an 11-year-old traumatized girl. He wasn't in my head. He doesn't see or recall the same things I do, and that's absolutely okay. He remembers events I don't. I remember events he doesn't. That is to be expected. Our brains are incredible. Memories can't always be trusted. That's why you work with a professional to sort it all out. So, did what happened happen? Yes, it did. Am I remembering everything perfectly? Of course not. It probably wouldn't be a trauma for me if I did. Am I making things up? Hell fucking no. I hope that makes more sense. Now, the trauma that resurfaced about slipping and falling at the pool and getting cut when I was 4 or 5 or 6 years old, that was a trauma that was so bad that I blocked some out. I knew that, but new information came out. The faux father told Beau that he and the maternal figure did in fact take me to the emergency room. Good. That is a relief. I'm glad they did the right thing. I don't believe they did. Do I remember going? No, not at all. Do I believe they took me? Maybe. Now, Beau is trying to say that the maternal figure and the faux father never looked at the cut back at our apartment before we went to the ER. She is claiming it was the doctors and nurses and that I'm confusing that memory with the parents looking. First of all. Okay. I'll keep going. But what an asshole. What an asshole. She was not there. She does not know. I was a 4-year-old little girl, and I'm recounting when my stepfather and my mother went and looked at me and touched me inappropriately in my genitalia. And this bitch is trying to gaslight me, and it's probably the faux father in her ear. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. What? You are a sick. She's just as sick as the faux father. This is disgusting. Okay, firstly, Beau wasn't around. She wasn't in the picture. And I very much resent her trying to tell me what did and didn't happen. She is absolutely in the wrong for trying to do that. We did not go from the pool straight to the ER. They did take me back to the apartment first and look themselves. That I do remember vividly. And I will not allow someone who wasn't even there to try to gaslight me. I'm not saying that the parents were wrong for looking. They were. It makes sense that they would have. They needed to know if I needed medical attention. Makes sense. I'm not claiming sexual abuse in this instance. I'm not saying they did anything wrong. They did. I'm saying it was very uncomfortable to have the parents look at me down there. It was a traumatic event for me. Maybe it wouldn't have been for them if they were in my shoes, but it was for me. And no one has the right to tell me it wasn't. Now, I was right to block them. The way that they are reacting is not healthy at all for me. So I have to distance myself from them. Abigail agrees. If in time we can discuss it, wonderful. No. But for now, I need to protect myself from the type of reactions they are having. If new information surfaces or is brought to my attention, I will absolutely address it. That's the point of this. I hope that clears things up. All right, reader, it's 8:15 a.m. I start work at 8:30. I'm going to continue this after. All right, I swam for an hour and a half. It is now 10:10 p.m. It's been a long day for sure. Work was absolutely insane. But I do feel that my immediate supervisors have our backs this year. This teaching job I had was hell. That is super important to me. I'm very grateful for that. I was so wrong. Devlin and I are good. Poophead, I love her so much. Ooh. She's a good friend. Oh, that was hard to say. I know she is trying not to add stress to my life. She knows what I'm going through, but I told her not to hide anything from me. I don't do well with having things hidden from me. I'd rather just know the truth and deal with it. Speaking of backs, mine is still a mess, but I am able to stand up straight again. It does this every couple of months. I'm grateful it's not as painful as it used to be. It's just difficult to get things done when it goes out. My injury tore 6 facet joints in my lower back. It took years for the doctors to figure it out. I was in excruciating pain for years. It was beyond misery. I'm so much better after the surgery and physical therapy. Thank God. The pool was difficult today. I wanted to swim vigorously. It was just too painful. But maybe it's a blessing. I stayed an hour after the pool closed because I'm a rebel. It was so peaceful. I swam, but just enjoyed the peace. It was beautiful. Excellent way to end the week. And I was able to walk back home, walking straight, not hunched over. I didn't overdo it, and I'm feeling so much calmer. I also have a doctor appointment on Monday for anxiety medication, and I'll hopefully get some answers on what the heck is going on with this laryngitis. Hopefully that's all it is. All right, let's see if I can get through a bit more tonight. Emancipation had finally been granted. I was back at home in Tucson, but the pressures were getting to me. I was 16, and I thought it was big and bad and grown. Guess again, little girl. I began experimenting with things much worse than pot. Those older neighbors were horrible influences. They had to be in their 30s, and this was their life. I remember asking one of them once when this would all end. Like, when would she stop and get clean? She looked at me like I was crazy. What do you mean stop? Oh, shit. Jaren, this is their lives. This isn't just experimenting to them. You keep this up and this will be you too. Oh, hell no. I didn't stop for a while, but I began making new friends and they were closer to my age. Closer, but not quite my age. I met Soma at work. We both were cashiers at the pet shop. She attended the U of A and was going for a psychology degree, I believe, because of course she was. We got along great, and we started hanging out outside of work. She was in her early 20s. I was 16. And lived in apartments that were a lot like dorms near campus. She introduced me to a ton of other students at the U of A. I began hanging out and drinking and going out a lot, and my schoolwork began to suffer big time. Like not going to class days, weeks at a time. I was slipping big time. As I had mentioned before, the only teacher I bonded with was my Spanish teacher. I began confiding in her. I knew I was messing up. She was doing her best to guide me through it. It felt so good to be able to trust someone older, responsible, that could understand, or tried to at least. All right, reader. The trauma timeline. Soma, her being so much older, 16 years old. This will make sense soon. There was a club in Tucson that allowed 16 years and up to come in. I'm so not a club person, but Soma wanted to go. So what the hell, why not? I'm sure we drank before going in. I don't think they served alcohol. Soma was off dancing. I hadn't danced since I was 9 years old at my aunt and uncle's wedding. The maternal figure and the full father teased me relentlessly for my dancing abilities, or rather lack thereof, and I have refused to dance in public since. I remember standing off to the side of everyone when Soma approached me. It was loud, music blaring. She was trying to tell me something. I couldn't hear her. She leaned in, yelling it in my ear. Super close. Uh-oh. Face to face now. So close. Jesus. Heart racing. She's not backing off. She's getting closer. She says, I knew this was going to happen. Really? I sure as hell never saw it coming. So close. Both practicing restraint. And we are interrupted by some guy, friend of hers, figures. But she can't take her eyes off you and you her. Super intense. Her guy friend is drunk, needs a ride home. Soma and I had driven there together in her car. My car was back at work. We drove back to it. She wants to come over to your place, but she has to take care of her drunk friend. tomorrow night. We both agreed. Holy shit, another one. How the hell did I forget this one? Here we go again. Trauma's coming up because they do during the process of narrative exposure therapy. I was in my teens, 13 or 14 years old. I was spending the summer in Tucson with my aunt, uncle, and cousins. My baby cousin was trying to sleep. My aunt was in the room trying to get her to sleep. My uncle was in the kitchen. The dogs, Shreebo and Will, were outside, barking like crazy. My uncle asked me to go quiet them down. Sure, no problem. I walked outside. There was a small porch and then a step down to a walkway. The dogs began barking more intensely as I walked out. I attempted to calm them down. No use. They just became more upset and vocal. I went to step off the porch. They went completely crazy. Thank God I looked down in time. Smallish snake, curled up, head sticking up, swaying back and forth, attempting to judge how far it needed to strike my foot. Shit. I backed up in time, but I was super curious. It's so small, but it's markings. I know those markings. I got way too close. It's not rattling, but I swear I know those markings. Shit. And went back inside. Uncle, I think there's a rattlesnake on the pathway. It's right outside. My uncle was sure it was just a harmless snake, not a western diamondback rattlesnake. He was just talking about how he had never seen one on his property. We both went back outside. Oh shit, Jaren, you're right. It's a baby rattler. Damn, Jaren, did you get lucky? The babies are so dangerous. They don't know how much venom to inject. I could have gotten a lethal dose easily. My uncle got his shotgun from the closet. Hold the dogs back, Jaren. I did, and my uncle took a couple shots, and then it was over. He took the snake to the garage. He gave me the rattle. I still have it. The next morning, we went outside. He turned on the hose. He had accidentally shot the hose also. It may have just ricocheted, but it still was hilarious that the hose was shot. That was my first run-in with a rattlesnake. There were others later. I'll talk about those in books 2 or 3. One incident actually was in a den. Scary as hell. Hold on, there's a picture. I have to make this smaller. 1 second. Okay. So this was me at 13 or 14 years old in Tucson at my aunt and uncle's house. Talking to Angela on the phone back when phones had cords. Okay. Postscript. March 2024. Okay. Let's talk about the smear campaign from the family against me. The forefather was in a major hurry to shut me down, dismiss, and try to discredit me. I don't know everything they are and have been saying about me. I won't participate in their bullshit. If I do find out, I may consider legal action at some point in the future for slander and defamation. Until that point, I just need to stay away. I have no desire to find out what they are up to. Everyone is blocked on social media. I haven't looked at their social media. I just have no desire, and I know it would only hurt me. Fuck that. I still didn't understand the complexities of what occurs when you call a narcissist out, which, again, you are never supposed to do. Whoops. I had already started this book. I just didn't know this information. I've thought about stopping. I've thought about keeping all of this private. Fuck that. I've been silenced by narcissists my entire life. No more. No fucking way. All right. That was chapter 29. We've got 2 more chapters to go. Hopefully I will do another video tomorrow if I'm feeling okay. I gotta go take my antibiotics and some more NyQuil, or Dayquil, NyQuil, and ibuprofen because I feel like crap. Hope everybody's doing well. Sending lots and lots of love. As always, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Talk soon. Bye, guys.